What is up, and welcome back to another episode of So There's That. I am your hostess, doing the mostest, Kivanchi. And I know I'm late, y'all, but you know what? Every Friday is another Friday to continue to celebrate the greatness that is Spartacus, House of Ashur. And we are here with season 1, episode 10, the finale recap analysis. Hail Caesar, y'all. There's so much we could get into, but we stick it to the meat and the potatoes, okay? I've been sitting with this finale for 2 weeks, and if you haven't seen my TikTok, my wife ended up recording me. I did not know she was recording me, reacting to the last 18 minutes of this episode. And when I tell you I was up out of my seat, I haven't recovered. And I just watched it again before coming in here, and I'm just like, what does one even do? Like, stars, Lionsgate, somebody, we're gonna need the season 2 announcement. Need that season 2 announcement, babes. Need it. Está pronto, rapidamente. Like, we need it now, okay? But let's get into this episode. The director was one Rick Jacobson. The cinematographer for this episode is Andrew McGeorge. And y'all, Stephen S. DeKnight wrote the absolute fuck out of this episode. Like, insane. Start to finish. Incredible writing. So let's just get right into it. So y'all already know, we are on the heels of Gabinius's death. We're having yet another funeral. My good sis Viridia just cannot catch her break. And who comes slithering in? One Servius, Viridia's uncle. Now, listen, don't like him. I get so many icky vibes. And when he went into that bathtub with both of them in there just stark naked, it's really given, like, I'm gonna make both of these women my concubines, even though I'm biologically related to my niece. Like, I know Cossutia was trying to warn her about, people trying to usurp her and making sure that Viridia is prepared to fight the people that's trying to take the power from all over the place, including the people within your own family. But it was just giving, what the girl saying? Yuck! It was just giving disgusting, okay? Then he's like walking around and he's like, Viridia, Cossutia, fall to heel. I'm sorry, bitch, are they dogs? Like, are you crazy? Wherever he came in from, like, I'm really gonna need him in a funeral pyre on the way back. Like, he has to go. But in the middle of all of this, I was wondering in episode 9, I was like, okay, is Ashur gonna tell Korris? Girl, Ashur ain't telling no motherfucking body. Nobody knows what Ashur did. And honestly, it's for the best, girl. Like, you've done worse. The only reason Ashur is sick about it now is because he actually loved this man. And he loves the daughter of this man who loves that man more than she loves life itself. So the amount of guilt and remorse is just eating him alive. There is an ulcer right now growing in Ashur's body, and the ulcer's name is Gabinius. It's not gonna let go. It's not gonna let go. But I mean, listen, at this point, he's on the cusp of, Caesar talking with Crassus, restoring the old Spartacus house area so that he can get a bigger place. He can bring things back to glory. He's like, listen, everything I'm doing is for a bottom line. If that means I got to give up the love of my life, fuck it. I already lost, oh my God, I feel so bad. I already lost Celadus. Like, it's just been hit on top of hit on top of hit. And he's like, okay, this motherfucker get ready to leave town anyways. So when he leaves, like, my life will be fine. Maybe I'll have like my riches and, you know, more fighters and stuff on my side when everything's settled, right? He can drink himself into a stupor behind his guilt. So getting to the things that we want to talk about, because babe, we're talking about the fights. We're getting into it. And Satyrus is still kicking, y'all. Proclus, y'all already know how I feel about Mr. Banks. You already know how I feel about Mr. Banks. And it is very clear, and he made it very clear to even Satyrus, that he's putting him in the ring to get him killed. Because honestly, Proclus feels like Satyrus should have stayed there and died than come back and having lost everybody else. But Satyrus, even without his brothers, I said before, Satyrus is the head of the snake. He's small, but that man can fight. And he was put into the arena with a woman because once again, what a hater always do, copy off of you. And Proclus sends another woman into the ring. Now, at first, you know, if we stumbling a little bit, you know, you got me dripping, ooh, stumbling. And they practice together a little bit. But again, Proclus ain't got much faith. He's trying to set Satyrus up to be killed in the ring anyway. So, you know, it just is what it is. And they're getting beat up a little bit. But then they find a rhythm and Satyrus does the thing that seems to like go out of people's heads. And it's communicate. Yes, we're going to actually communicate with our partner in the ring because our very lives like depend upon it. And at one point when you think like, okay, she's just kind of going to let him, you know, take the battle or whatever, they really kind of lean on each other. And as you're watching this fight from the middle to the end, you really do see something grow in front of your face. And Satyrus, like the energy that Leigh Gill is able to portray and come off of the screen is that boost and that confidence that he is fighting to stay alive for his brothers. And they win the fight and the girl is like, I'm gonna fuck you afterwards. And he's like, I'm gonna let you. And it's like a big middle finger to everybody, including Proclus, who's sitting up there like with a face that's like proud, but like also like he smelled something funky. Like, y'all know how I feel about Proclus. Y'all know how I feel. I cannot stand Mr. Bangs at all going to need that sword in his body real fast. But you know, we're moving on to the fight, okay? We got vengeance, revenge, retribution, mourning, grief, everything, okay? Korris told Tarchon, listen, unfortunately, you're not going to be the one to avenge your father's death, so you're going to have to help her and give her tips so that she can win. So we're watching this episode and they're fighting and they're going back and forth. And Achillia is still kind of like, oh, so now you want to be nice. And at first she's not really taking Tarchon's like techniques and tips and stuff because she's still on guard. Like, he's already pretended and made this huge grandstand. Like, yeah, we're going to be on your side. And walked over and was like, yeah, because I'm going to beat your ass. But then we start to see, you know, Tarchon making an effort to get her to believe that he is being genuine. Y'all, we get into that ring. Listen. First off, Servius, you bitch. You said something like, oh, I guess the Nubian is not all that's cracked up to be. Even Viridia was giving him the side eye like, okay. Now, they're there, they fighting, you know, Proclus does, you know, he says, you know, oh, I told her to hold back, you know, during the practice sessions when she was fighting Proclus's men, he was like, you know, don't kill her too easy, I want this to be a show. Girl, Achillia swiped my sis across the face and she threw down all of her weapons and it turned into a straight up street fight, fist to cuff, brawl on brawl. The Scythian threw my sis into the crowd because at this point, she's realizing, hold on, she's smaller than me, but this bitch kind of mighty. Like, I can't just be out here playing. So the Scythian, she goes and she's like, whatever that man was saying, bump all of that. I'm fighting to the death right now. So Korris is rooting for her. Tarchon is rooting for her. And we all over here screaming, use the shield, use the shield. And Achillia don't even be having no weapons or whatever. And like, everybody is stressed. Ashur is in the crowd stressed. Hilara is in the crowd stressed. She don't even like this girl. And it's just like, oh my God. But Achillia said, listen, where I come from, babes, I do the things. She went and parkoured herself across this arena and started using everything around her as the weapon to beat her ass. They cheering. I'm cheering. I'm gonna link that video in the description box because I'm downplaying it right now. I was doing way more than cheering. But I was like sweating and I'm like, oh my God, okay, they cannot kill my sis. They cannot kill my sis. But this is a show where like, don't get attached to nobody. Like, don't. And I'm like, after the whole Kelladis thing, even though I was like, him and Tarchon, both of them aren't making it out of the season, it still hurt, okay? I feel feelings. And so I was like sweaty, I'm stressed, I'm like bent all out of shape about it. And Achillia takes her spear and gets her down and stabs her through the foot into the sand. And she cocked that little shield back like a little black Zelda and rammed it right into her mouth. I'm over here like, off with her fucking head, right? Okay, but like I was requesting it, but I wasn't prepared. When I tell you that the special effects, visual effects, and like the makeup and everything, when I tell you they showed, if you pull up in the Urban Dictionary, peel your muffin cap back blue, this picture of the Scythian's head is right next to it. Don't even put no words. Put the picture on there. We get it. She literally took her heel on some Chun-Li Street Fighter and yanked it down, and my good sis head went back like a Muppet, bitch. And I was like, look at me now. Look at me now. This is crazy. This is crazy. I shouldn't be this excited still. She sent that whole packing, okay? And the best part about it, the cherry on top, the hot fudge on a carefully built sundae was Proculus's face. Oh my God. But don't get it twisted, girl, you're next. If I have anything to do with it, Proculus is not surviving season 2. So yeah, so all of that happened and I'm excited. Ashur is excited. Like, we are getting a win. Finally, House of Ashur. You know, we've been through the mud and now we're crawling back out. Cornelia and her mans is going to be out of my place. Like, you know, I just want my peace back. I want to enjoy this win. And I'm going to be real. Before Achillia even went out there, Ashur gave a great speech. And one of the things that I've been seeing on Twitter, somebody sent a comment to Steven on Twitter and was like, I wasn't sure how I would like a show centered around a character that was a traitor and that was very easily like disliked in the original series, but you managed to make me root for Ashur in a way I never thought possible. Like, Ashur's past hasn't gone anywhere. Everybody in Capua keeps reminding him. So literally in every episode, we, the audience who, you know, who were the young 20-somethings or teenagers or whatever who watched Spartacus when it came out, we're not forgetting him either. But there is so much grace and empathy written into Ashur, and not in a way that's like, that I don't think Steven and the other writers went in and was like, let's make the villain likable. Like, y'all know how some people be like the villain deserves to die, and everybody want to do a redemption arc, and it's just like the worst thing ever. It feels like a try hard. That didn't happen with Ashur. Like, I think because the focus is not on like obvious redemption, that you just naturally end up going down the path of redeeming that character through your own experience of him in this new way. And honestly, I feel like if the premise of this wasn't what if in another reality, I think it would still be the same way, because we're really getting to see another part of Ashur's character. We're really getting to see how much he cares, but he's still very flawed and made some very fucked up decisions. But he has the same background as everybody else. And so it's like, okay, if somebody else was in that position, would they have chosen differently? And honestly, no, they wouldn't have. This is a game of survival. Like, only the people that's willing to take it there are going to survive. And nobility hasn't gotten a lot of people anywhere. They're dead. Are they revered? Yes. Are they alive? No. And so going down this path and just still having Ashur have his, normal personality and the arrogance and the confidence and being very pompous and all of these other things, in this, by bringing Caesar in, by continuing to unfold, Crassus's role in Ashur's life, by bringing in Cornelia, Cossutia, Gabinius, you now watch through these other characters break the entire facade down and strip Ashur of everything he wants us to believe that he is, and you still get to see the boy whose village was pillaged and his family murdered in front of him. And so it's like, through the other characters, you end up finding sympathy and empathy for Ashur. And that is why this show works. Steven didn't throw redeemability in our face. He didn't throw like all of these different things that would be like Ashur, believe my show, watch my show. He's a good guy now. Ashur's not good. He just made Ashur human like the rest of us. Genius. This is how you reboot and revive. This is a masterclass on how to revive your show and how to reinvigorate a fandom while also giving them something new that ignites them in a completely new way. The experience that I'm experiencing now with the show is not the same experience as when Spartacus first came out. And that is okay. That experience in my 20s, it was great. It was everything. It's the reason why I watched the show. The experience now, these are two different experiences. And they both live and exist inside me. Incredible. So, after we fight, okay, Achillia goes back to her queen's quarters. And, we're shaking off the day. It was raining outside, and she's feeling good. But you almost get a sense of justice not being served. Death wasn't enough and will never be enough to soothe the pain. Tarchon comes in. He's like, hey, girl, you did that. And you listened to me. Shout out to us. We're getting along. And, Achillia, she's trying to wind down and shit. And, they both are just kind of sitting in the fact that Calidus would be proud of how far they've come. And, there's some solace and some satisfaction in exacting revenge, but they still have to wake up another day and he's still not here. Well, Achillia is dealing with her bandage on her hand. And, you know, Tarchon comes over. He's like, listen, my dad taught me how to bandage wounds when I was a kid. Let me hook you up. And they even share a little jokey joke at Korris' expense. Achillia's like, you know, I fear Korris, or I fear Doctore is better at taking life than he is healing it. And, you know, they chuckle a little bit. And Tarchon is lending gentle hand upon injured hand. And, you know, there's something in the air tonight. And he kisses her. And she's like, boy, are you crazy? And for real, for the first time, you really see Tarchon genuinely be like sorry for something. Like, I don't even know. It seemed, I don't even know how to describe it. Y'all just gotta watch it again and watch it again for his reaction, not for what I think y'all gonna watch it again for. You nasty. He just looks like a boy in that moment. Like the first time you think a girl is flirting with you and then you act on it and then you realize you were wrong and you're just like, holy shit, I'll never do that again. Like that was kind of like the vibe. And then Achillia grabs him by the throat, slams him into the wall, and they proceed to have the sexiest hate sex in like TV history. Like at this, I was literally screaming, not the pappy and the son, but yes. Cause listen, it was great with Kelladis, you know, and I'll always have those memories. But babe, your son is alive, greased up, wet from the rain, and in my face. And after much death and carnage, I need to feel alive too. And they get it in. And you know what? Shout out to her. Yes. Yes. I support women doing women things. So while all of that is happening, okay, Cornelia and them, you know, Cornelia had left a little earlier. She took Messia with her. Whatever, Messia didn't die like I thought she would, but okay, whatever. And Julius is getting ready to leave too, and Asher's like, bet. It was lovely-ish having you here. Where are my things? And Julius is like, listen, all that shit was a lie, bro. Be lucky I even brought your name up and even graced this pigsty that you call a home. And Asher's like, a what? And Julius is like, you fucking heard me? I'm out of here, okay? Do what you will and whatever it is that you do on the daily basis. And y'all, this is the crash out I have been waiting for. This is the crash out of the century. And I won't even give it away. It's the crash out of the century. One of my favorite crash outs in TV history. Literally second to Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead in the rain when he bit that man's face to save his son and to save his future wife. Like, crash out, literally second behind feral Rick Grimes' face. And he went and was yapping or whatever, and Caesar hit him and was like, do you know who I am, boy? Do you know who you talking to? And Asher said, I'm talking to a man who bleeds, bitch. And they get to sword fighting. Now, I'm gonna give it to young Jules. He was fighting his ass off. Y'all know when them Romans be wearing the gear and shit, but they really don't know how to fight. They just talk a lot of shit, and then they wear a sword, and then they allow their name and the power of the name to be like the intimidating factor, but they really can't fight. Hell no. Caesar be in the gym, okay, and he was fighting. But he was losing his footing a little bit because Julius's man came in there. He was like, kill him. And Asher said, not on today. Not on today. He didn't believe in God before, but ever since that man prayed, Hey, there's a new protection over Ashur's shoulders, and the gods and goddesses was with him on that night. He ended them guards with the quickness because, baby, I have a passion that is burning, and that burning is coming for you. And I mean, clash of the swords, getting it in. And Julius was getting his fight in, but Jules, come here. Come here. Remember all that shit talking about him being a slave, about him being a former gladiator, and all these other things? Guess what they're trained to do? Guess what they're trained to do? So the very thing that you were using against him to make him feel less than and to other him in front of everybody is the very skill that you need in this moment. And it is the thing that he relied on to put that sword in you. Now, it wasn't just enough for Stephen to be like, and Ashur drives the sword into the weak point of Julius Caesar's armor. No. This turned into an episode of Snapped so fast. He looked down on Caesar, and Caesar was kind of looking up at him, and he had this twitch smirk in his face and just started stabbing him over and over and over and over in his face. And when he's finally exhausted and soaked from the rain, he looks down at him and he says, "Hail Caesar." There's that, my guys. This is crazy. 10 out of 10. No notes. No notes. Like, season 2, I swear to God, I have never started like a change.org or like a petition or anything for like a TV show or nothing. But, you know, I'm, like I said before on this platform, and if you're new, I'm in my era where I'm finding like letting the kid in me express all of the things that I love. I mean, hello, look behind me. But like, these were things that I protected because being a Black girl in these spaces, I mean, it's not friendly now. I mean, hello, and this is supposed to be the age of progress, but it just wasn't a friendly thing, right? So once I kind of moved out away from like all Black neighborhoods when I was a kid, when we talked about anime, we talked about all of it, and then I started going into like mixed ethnic group places and stuff like that. It was always made to seem like we had to prove that we actually watched these things, especially being a girl and being a woman. It's like, well, prove it. And do you know this? And do you know this? Do you know this? So I just kept it to myself and would only talk about it with like my super close friends who are into it and like my family. Not anymore. It is here. That quick backstory to say, I swear to God, if we don't get a season 2, I'm going to start a petition. I'm starting a petition. This is crazy. This is crazy, affectionately. Like, yeah. Y'all did that? Y'all did that. I have no notes for none of the cast, directors, writers, producers, cinematographers. I got no notes. How cool it must have been to do the table read and just be like, we have the exact people we are supposed to have at this point in time. That had to be an incredible feeling, because that's how I felt when the credits start rolling. And I was just like, I can't believe I get to see a new era of Spartacus in my lifetime. Like, this is crazy. So, y'all know I love to do predictions. So, we're going to go into Spartacus, House of Ashur, Season 2 predictions. Okay. First, I think that Cossutia and Viridia will plot to kill Servius. They must. Now, I've made some predictions before with Viridia and Cossutia, and when they were faced with the thing, they then reverted to being women and going back to their place. With the presence of Satyrus, I mean, it's all over Viridia. She not about to take this in down. So while I think Cossutia will be more fearful for her daughter and kind of move into the mother role and just like, hey, I want to protect, I think Viridia can talk her into some collusion and some plotting here. I think she can convince her. She needs to, because my next prediction is I think Proculus is going to try to proposition himself as like a new spouse for Viridia to try to, one, get back at Cossutia for orchestrating his, death, which ended up being all of his men. But he'll be able to take over the house of Gabinius, and it's like a super fuck you to everybody. We already know that this man is an opportunist, and he don't care who it is. If he has to marry his enemy just to slowly plan on killing you, he'll do it anyway. So I feel like the whole snake in the grass thing, Mr. Bangs ain't going nowhere no time fast, and I wish he would, but I just feel like he's not. And I think that might be a route. Because at this point, the men are just going from like wife to wife for power. It ain't got nothing to do with Viridia. He could literally marry her and beat the shit out of her every day, because that's how they see women in those times. And given the big move that Cossutia made against him, and the fact that Satyrus lived and Proculus gets to live too, I just see him doing this as like a huge revenge and a huge fuck you to them by trying to marry Viridia. My next prediction, I think Achillia and Tarchon are going to keep having hate sex, and it's really going to get on Korris's nerves. Like, I think Korris is going to be like, I miss when y'all punched and stabbed each other all the time. Like, I'm over this. Now, will the fellas be behind this? I feel like everybody will be, maybe except Erato. Even if Theseus, I think he'll be fine. But I feel like Erato, there were some things, I'm going back into my memory, like there were just some things where I feel like where Tarchon was kind of acting out because it maybe was like a crush, and just, I think in one of my recaps I said he doesn't really understand why he doesn't like her. And I mean, this could have been the answer. I mean, sorry, you were in her guts. Like, that could have been the thing. So I always got the feeling that Erato genuinely didn't like her. Like, at all. I don't know what the motivation is. I don't know. But I just feel like it's going to be cool. I think most people are going to be cool about it. But I think Erato might come and be like, oh, so you've had Kelladis and now you got Tarchon. What next? You want to fuck everybody in the lettuce? Like, I just feel like these things are going to come for my sis. She's not going to know peace. But, if she gets a piece of Tarchon every night, then, might be worth it. Who knows? My next prediction, I feel like I don't think Ashur will confide in Korris within the first 5 episodes that he actually killed Gabinius. I think for like the first 5 episodes, that ain't coming out. But Korris will help Ashur get rid of this body. Honestly, I feel like Ashur could enlist everybody in the house to not only get rid of the body by throwing it over the cliff, but cleaning it up to pristine condition, because Caesar and Cornelia didn't just get on Ashur's nerve. They terrorized everybody in that house. And Ashur could only do so much, but he did his best to protect all of them. He got Achillia to drug somebody so that she wouldn't be like attacked or abused by Pompey. Even when Messia was acting like she didn't know him, she was like, I do not know that girl. She still helped. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, they're all like slaves in there and stuff like that, but Ashur doesn't treat them like everybody else treats the people of the house. He actually confers with them, gets their thoughts, get their ideas, and there's a respect there that he has. Genuinely feel like everybody in that house is gonna clean up. Now, will he actually do that? No, but I do think Korris, Achillia, Hilara, maybe Tarchon, but those three people, I think Ashur, he gonna need their help. He gonna need their help. And I think he might get those three to do it. And speaking of Caesar, Cornelia's about to be mad. Oh my God. Cornelia coming back to figure out why her man ain't came yet. She coming back. She coming back, and she coming for everybody's head. Now, will she bring back Messia? I don't know. Would I like Ivana Baquero to come back? Sure. Like, she wasn't bad. I think that is a very calculating character. So I would definitely want to see more of what she could do. On like some spy type shit. So that would be interesting. But Cornelia's coming back. Cornelia's coming back for her man, her baby. And I genuinely don't even really have any thoughts beyond that, because I don't think she is more powerful than Julie is. I just don't think she could do too much without a man as her puppet to make those things happen. So as powerful as she is, she gonna need the Roman army to take Ashur down. This, I don't know, man. This is crazy. It makes me think, can we even get past season 2? Because she's rolling in that hole with a legion, babes. Like, it's a war. Rome versus Ashur. And listen, they're not gonna win. Ashur's gonna have to go underground or something. Or he's gonna have to dream. He's gonna have to go back into a dream state, to the fates, to Lucretia, and somebody gonna have to change his fate a little bit again. Like, something's gonna have to happen, because it's really giving like Cornelia's not leaving season 2 without a confrontation. And so will the rest of them make it? Who knows? Y'all tell me what you think. What are some of your predictions for season 2? Leave them in the comments. And I wanted to do something that I don't think I've done for any other show. Definitely didn't do it for this season, but I wanted to rate my top 3 House of Ashur episodes, okay? Number 3, episode 7, Deepest Wound. Korris's crash out is so epic, because it wasn't just about him fighting in the arena against Proclus's men and slinging the brothers Ferox around like little rag dolls. It was the whole of the episode through like his drunken grief. And I mean, Korris fought everybody. It took so many people to hold him back after Operator's death. And that level of grief and pain was just felt throughout the entire episode. And so it just definitely making my top 3. Number 2, episode 5, Goddess of Death. I mean, come on. Achillia's entry into the sands of the arena. Top. Especially because she almost died. And it was just such a realistic approach for a woman who is as agile as she is, who is as smart in the arena as she is. It still didn't lean into some unrealistic ideal that we need to prop up this woman as the first gladiatrix on TV and give her these unrealistic like strengths so that she's mollywopping everybody that she fights. No. And so that episode was just such a high stakes moment, because even you as the audience member, you're just like, she finna die. Like, she finna die. And it was just like, okay, well, y'all hyped her entrance up for nothing, because she not gonna last. And so it was just the perfect way to solidify this character, solidify the history of this character while also staying true to just how hard it is to stay alive in a show like Spartacus. And coming in at number one, my number one favorite House of Ashur episode. Episode 10, Hail Caesar. Hands down, from the rooter to the tutor, from beginning to end, okay? 365 days of the year. Top tier episode. Every conflict, every conversation, every joyous moment, every snaky moment, and then of course, Ashur's epic crash out. I mean, come on. That man gave up everything. Everything. For a crumb, he asks for one thing and he didn't get it. And my man's had his 13th reason, and that is why episode 10, Hail Caesar, is my number one favorite Spartacus House of Ashur episode. Period. Argue with your mama. And lastly, I wanted to talk about my top 3 best fight scenes in Spartacus House of Ashur. Number 3, Achillia versus Animaeus. I think that man's name was Animaeus, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you. That was in episode 5, Goddess of Death. So she fought this big ass dude. And I mean, oh my God, the punches. She was getting beat. And when I interviewed Tenika and talked to her about, like, you know, the mental space that she had to go into to be like, I'm about to get beat. And she talked about how, you know, her scene partners at first were just kind of like, do I hit you? And she's like, I need y'all to go all in so that I can respond the way that I need to respond in a desperate attempt to live, so that I can give it everything that I have. And you see that the first time she is in this arena for real, for real, for real, for real, for real. And it's just everything. Had to make my top 3. Number 2 best fight in House of Ashur. It's a tie, y'all. It's a tie. Ashur versus Caesar. I know I just said Hail Caesar was my favorite episode, but it was number 2 for best fight, and it's tied with Korris versus everybody. So that comes from episode 10, Hail Caesar, and episode 7, Deepest Wound. And so those are tied because honestly, I thought the crash outs would happen together, but I did say, like, okay, we can't have both of them crashing out at the same time. So I was very excited that Korris crashed out first. But the passion and the rage and just, you felt both of them constantly having to bite their tongue all season, to pretend that they were lesser, to have to bow down against everybody else and be treated like shit the entire time. So these crash outs were worth it, and the damage that was done to their enemies was not nearly enough. There is more to be had, and hopefully, you know, we get that in season 2. And number 1 best fight in the House of Ashur season 1 is Achillia versus the Scythian, episode 10, Hail Caesar. Hands down, had me up out my seat. You would have thought I was watching the Super Bowl. You would have thought I was watching NBA, playoffs, game 7, and there's a team down by 2 points, and you're waiting for your team to shoot the 3, and you're hoping to see if it goes into the basket. I was loud. Even my dogs came to check on me because, like, oh my God, incredible. So yeah, those are my top 3 best fight scenes in Spartacus House of Ashur. Y'all already know. Tell me what your favorite fight scenes were, or even your favorite scenes. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave comments in the comments box below. If you got people that only want to listen, again, that Spotify and that Apple Podcast link, still there, girls. Still there. So go ahead and click on it. You can find me on Instagram at So There's That Podcast, where I post film and TV news and updates. I also put posts on there for the articles that I write at www.sothere'sthatpodcast.com. That'll also be linked in the description box below. I write articles and publications about different trailer reactions and other reviews that I do not cover on the podcast. So if you have a show that you're interested in, I likely wrote about it. But if I didn't, put it in the comments, girl. I'm gonna get to it eventually. You can also find me on my main Twitter page at She. You can also find me on the podcast Twitter page at Pod. So there's that. I'm all over the place. Still don't use TikTok as much, but I did have to post my reaction to Achillia's fight on there. So, if you want to see what I'm talking about on TikTok or any past shows that I've talked about at She, I'm back and forth between, getting back on there, but we'll see. But I'm doing, a little bit of everything, dibbling, dabbling, y'all know. And before I head out, thank you to everybody who's subscribed to me. Things are happening so fast, and there's so many of y'all. So shout out to y'all. Thank you. For those of you who may be shy and don't want to speak, or you have ideas for shows and stuff, get in the comments. We're all shy. I don't like talking to people, but I'm sitting here talking to y'all because I love film and television. This is a space for us with like minds, even if we don't have the same opinions, to commune together, talk about these shows, talk about these crazy characters, scream, beg for more, and just have a good time. So if you like having a good time, let me know. Okay? And with that, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next podcast episode.